Daniele Corrieri of Italy, someone who's been around for a considerable period of time. Never really threatened to make the breakthrough into the very top bracket, but a win against an opponent like Shaw would be a real landmark in his career. Straight into the action. Jeremy Jones, US Mosconi Cup captain. Thoughts there on your man SVB getting through?
Well, he showed a lot of poise. Topsy-turvy match. You know, trailed early, got the lead. But sometimes that lead can be stressful when you can't, you know, close the door. And not saying he made mistakes not to close the door. It's just the way pool is. And the young Polish player showed a lot of heart and a lot of poise himself, and it was another fine match here at the European Open. Big underdog here, the Italian. I mean, I wouldn't say as much, but I think Shaw's really coming into form. He's played some easy, what seems easy matches, and really not having too much attention on him, you could say. I don't think is hurt at all.
Well, he won't get much attention if he plays shots like that. That was a bit of a messy one, I think we'd say.
Yeah, a little unlucky. I mean, good hit. It's hard to predict going through the 2-ball like that. You know, you have to hit the 2 just perfect to scratch. He's just trying to play it with some subtle speed, maybe tie a ball up. And now, as an underdog, you know, to get off to a good start, we always talk about it, key. You know, and I personally haven't seen Daniel in many singles events. I've seen him in the World Cup, represent Italy a few times with Fabio Petroni. Obviously a big breaker of the balls, big man.
Yeah, he's played for Italy in all of the last 5 times that they've been involved in the World Cup.
Obviously playing well, though. One thing to qualify, I saw some draws that were, you know, going to carry a guy probably around his ranking, a few guys into the final 64. But once you reach that final 64, you want a match there. You're playing well.
So Shaw scratched in the side, and it proved to be his last action of the opening rack, which has gone the way of Daniele Corrieri. So the last match in this round to get underway. Quite a few others out there with some way to go. Perhaps not, though, the all-Polish clash between Mieszko Fortunski and Radoslav Babica, because Fortunski is on the hill at 9-6. Denis Graba also closing in on victory. 8-3 he leads Niels Fey, and that would be a really good result for Graba. Ronald Regley 6-5 in front against Moritz Neuhausen. Joshua Filler 3-2 in front against Oscar Dominguez, who struggled over the line against Tyler Steyer on the main table earlier. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz needs 2 more. He's 8-5 in front against Bezar Spahiu. Alex Kazakis 4-2 up on John Mora, and it's 5 apiece between Konrad Yusushin and Khalid Al-Gamdi.
Yeah, Khaled's been so impressive, right? The youngster, he's almost just improving in front of our eyes here at the European Open from match to match, handling the pressure. And I'll talk about pressure and think about Daniel. Of course, a big moment for him here in a singles event on the main table, or one of the main tables. But, I mean, considering, you know, the World Cup, playing doubles, sometimes you really never get comfortable in a doubles format, and of course the World Cup, such a big stage. I think that's actually going to serve him well in this singles event, having that experience. A little awkward cueing here, and not only just awkward cueing, really hampering the bottom part of the cue ball, and that's what he needs to get on the 2. This is the type of shot because you're having to put a little speed into this shot. Not a ton, but a little more than medium. You may foul on the 8. All ball fouls here. And if you watch that shot right there, there was a lot of body movement. Not just as the swing was going, but actually a little bit prior. And of course, the cueing wasn't easy. Now Shaw in his first position offensively in the match.
Of the 4 matches he's played to reach this stage, Shaw's toughest by far really was his first. Only 9-7 against Ingo Lamberti. But then a couple of 9-1s back-to-back against Romania's Christian Surdea and then Kuwait's Badr Al-Awadi. And Petri Mäkinen gave him a few things to think about early on, but Shaw pulled away towards the finish and won 9-5 earlier today.
Yeah, silky smooth stroke. Really great transition, real calm through the ball. Or at least appears calm, and that's what the greats do. You really never see the speed in the stroke from the guys who really do it the best.
For me, he probably just shades Filler as my favorite player to watch, the most attractive. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've got a few more, I guess, but yeah, he's up there for sure. And he's the kind of guy, if you watch him enough, he'll improve your game just with his tempo and his just kind of calm nature around the table.
Had some long matches on the main table today. Early signs are this won't be one of them, whatever happens. It's 1-1 very swiftly between Shaw and Corriere. Mieszko Fortunski still looking for one more, leading Radoslav Babica 9-6. Looking to go through and face another all-Polish clash in the next round against Thomas Kaplan.
Yeah, and I watched some of that match prior to coming, into the box with you, Michael. And from what I saw, very highly contested match from Babica and Fortunski. Looks like Babica's really back in form.
Over on table 2, Joshua Filler, who we mentioned a moment ago, talking about attractive players to watch, is now leading 4-2 against Oscar Dominguez. The winner of that plays the winner of this. Filler Shaw in prospect.
Man, Shaw missed a very playable 2-ball in this rack, and he's done that a few times today. Some shots that we just don't expect him to miss, and I think just overall with the break the way it is, it's a little more taxing mentally and physically. You're going to have tougher shots overall, and we're just going to see a few more mistakes at times. Now Oscar, he missed an easy position shot on the 3. So has snookered himself. And a little opener there that you didn't expect to miss from Jayson Shaw.
I was mentioning that Corriere has been involved the last 5 times that Italy have played in the World Cup. Just the one win along the way, but it was a very good one last year, in fact, beating Spain in the first round in partnership with Fabio Petroni. And then narrowly beaten 7-5 by the Danish pair of Mickey Kraus and Baram Lotfi in the last 16. This year he teamed up with Francesco Candela, and they lost 7-2 in the first round to Albania.
Yeah, well, nothing to hold your head down about that. Albania, strong team.
Yeah, Heklan Kaci, of course, and Bezar Spahiu, who is actually the last surviving Albanian. He's got one round further than Kaci and still out there battling, 8-5 down against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
Yeah, and I like that kid from Albania. It seems like to me he's here for the long haul, trying to improve his game. Taking in not only the wins, but the losses as well. And I'll tell you, A little scrappy match on table 2, but Oscar's in it early, and that's what you got to do against Filler. Can't let him really get those wings a-flapping. All right, that jump shot's going to surrender a long 1 ball, but very doable. Daniel with a pretty powerful stroke, so drawing the ball here shouldn't be a problem.
Both of these players flying the flag alone. 16 different nations represented in the last 32. Sure, the last British player left in the field. Corriere, the sole remaining Italian.
Yeah, that powerful stroke may have got the best of him there. Just overdrew the ball, which is, you know, something you can't predict, because, and the problem there was he couldn't afford to be thin on the 2 with the 3 on the top rail. He had to get somewhat full on the 2, and I think better overall to be a little long than way short. Now he's got to clip the 2 and use the 7, 8, and the 4 as a snooker possibility, I believe. Is he going to attack the 9? I don't think the 2 goes by the 9.
Oscar Dominguez has a simple 9 ball to get back to 4-3 behind against Joshua Filler. From what I've seen of that match, Jeremy, we were saying he really struggled against Tyler Steyer. They both did, but we did look at it and think, oh, well, we'll break off from that for a moment. He did go and attack the 9. Daniele Corrieri completes the 2-9 combination and leads again at 2-1. So well done to him. As we return to just talking about Dominguez, that match against Steyer, there was a huge amount of pressure on it, a big opportunity for both of them. Nobody expects him to beat Filler, and it looks like he's playing with a bit more freedom as a result.
Yeah, and he's, you know, he's had some close matches against Filler. I wouldn't doubt along the lines that sometime he's beaten Filler. And he looks at the moment probably as a, you know, he's an underdog. Maybe the last match labeled himself a favorite. Who knows? Felt like he's supposed to win, maybe. Who knows? And now after getting back past that match, and sometimes struggling, like you said, getting past a match, you can kind of free it up a little bit. Oscar, a veteran, you know.
Well, he's right in it there at 4-3 down.
And he's got a real tester on the 2 ball to start game number 8. It's the type of shot he usually excels at, though, just leveling out and rolling the ball in.
Just looking elsewhere, Dennis Graba of Estonia now on the hill against Niels Fayen. 9-4 in that one.
That's what I talked about it earlier with Dennis. You know, he kind of trailed in a lot of matches through this event. I wouldn't say got away with them. Who knows how the matches went down. Maybe he played better than his opponent. Just, you know, things weren't that great for him early in those matches. But, you know, you get through a few of those. You start to get a few more shots early. You get a little confidence that you can come back. You may take a lead. And to be honest with you, I've watched a couple of Niels' matches, and of course he's played solid at times, but I haven't really seen the Niels that I'm used to seeing. Oscar split the wicket on that 2 ball. It's got to give him a lot of confidence. A funny shot on the 3, though. And I think the break shot probably has helped Daniel a lot to this point. So that's got to be a scary thing. You know, if he gets to going a little bit, he could get a little lead on Jayson. And we know what a lead is with this new break format. It means a heck of a lot more.
Shown a bit of form recently. Euro Tour, his primary domain. And he got to the quarterfinals of an event in Austria in June. Actually beat Dennis Graba in a hill-hill finish to get to the quarters and was 4-1 up against Dimitri Jungo. Ended up losing 9-5 to miss out on a place in the last 4. That tournament actually was won by Niels Fine. His 11th Euro Tour success, so moving him ahead of his compatriot Nick Vandenberg, third alone on the all-time list. Don't think there's any catching the all-time leader Ralph Suke, who's won 23 of those Euro Tour events.
Well, there's a couple young guys that may argue otherwise. I don't know how many fillers got so far. Ruiz only 30 years old. Kachi's got a few of them himself, right?
That's a fair point, but you've listed so many names there. They're all battling for
absolutely,
them. This is the thing, you see. You know, you could be out there for years playing really well, and if you can win 2 of those in one season, it's a really good achievement. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, Daniel doing what he needs to do. Came with a heck of a shot in the last game on the 2-9. Now it looks like trying to put another rack together after it, just keeping eagle eye in his chair.
It's going to be the first run out from the break in the match from either player. And the first time anyone's been too clear. Corriere leads 3-1. Oscar Dominguez over on table 2 in play with a great chance to level at 4-all with Joshua Filler. Remember, it's up to race to 10 now at the last 32 stage. Mieszko Fortunski still isn't over the line as we look at some of that action from table 2. Fortunski's lead over Radoslav Babica now reduced to 9-8. It's 7-all between Moritz Neuhausen and Ronald Regley. FSR 8-7 in front now against Bezar Spahiu. Alex Kazakis leads John Mora 4-3. Konrad Yusishin 7-5 in front against Khalid Al-Ghamdi, who's made such a name for himself here this week. Dennis Graba, as we said, on the hill at 9-4 against Niels Fine. He needs one more to set up a clash with Albin Ocean.
Yeah, and Oscar making a filler out right here in the 8th game. If you saw the first 2 to 3 shots of this rack, really impressive, and I'd like to see him get going and put some heat on filler, see what happens.
Yeah, that match available on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. All the Table 1 action on the Matchroom Pool Facebook page, and it's all there on Matchroom.Live.
Yeah, dry break here from Daniel. Looked like he took a hair of speed off. I doubt it was intentional. He's broke the balls nicely so far. Go ahead, Michael.
No, I was just going to throw in that it's his first dry break from 4 attempts in the match.
Yeah, and he's hasn't left anything easy, even though he does have a look at the 1. I don't know if he can really play an offensive shot here. Not a whole lot of future unless you elevate the cue, I think. And nothing easy on the safety because, you know, you'd like to play the 1. Okay, he's slightly elevating the cue. He hits this with a lot of speed. He may go right between the 8, 9 and scratch. Oscar Dominguez with a tester on the 9.
And he's potted it, so that's 4-all now against Joshua Filler. Where was this Oscar Dominguez earlier against Tyler Steyer?
Well, they both had moments in the match. This is, you know, in the match for, 3, 4, 5 games, it seemed like. You know, and they're friends, and, who knows the psyche there, right?
Ronald Regley has gone 8-7 up on Moritz Neuhausen. And Alex Kazakis has just won the 8th rack to go 2 clear of John Mora. 5-3 in that one.
Yeah, and have we ever seen a tournament of this magnitude where the players really have to sit back and think about shots so often? You know, and they're going to have to get that, ones that make the weekend, they're going to have to get that underhand a little bit, or in hand rather, because the shot clock will be there. That's what I was talking about. If he went hard, he could open up that bottom left-hand corner. Hit the ball great. It was just, wouldn't say inevitable, but very much a possibility.
We're talking about the Euro Tour and the fact that Corriere got to a quarter-final there recently. back in 2013. Came very close to winning one. In fact, he got to the final of 2 in a row. Beaten in one in Cyprus by Konstantin Stepanov of Russia. And in his home country, he got to the final in the very next event, but lost to Ralph Souquet.
Playing a bit of hockey with the cue ball there. Wow, Filler's coming with an out here. He kicked the one in. What a combination on the 2-4. And player you mentioned there, Stepanov, kind of doesn't really play much professional pool outside of Russia anymore, and I thought the kid really had a promising career.
Just a little moment of anxiety there for Corriere, but he got the right flick on the 6 to stay in position on the 3. And what an opportunity he's got here off the back of that scratch by Shaw. We're talking about Bezar Spahiu of Albania. Well, he's levelled at 8-all with Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Remember, if Sanchez Ruiz is beaten in that match, it ends his hopes of claiming the first automatic spot on the European Mosconi Cup team, which will be finalised at the end of this event. That would then go to Joshua Filler.
Yeah, I talked about it before. There's some pros that are going to, I hate to use the word struggle, but just realize it's different. You know, FSR's got such a high gear, big breaker of the balls, and runs a lot of racks usually. And just, you know, winning different ways with this format. I just got to watch the speed here, just because the 9 is on the on the bottom rail. Oscar Dominguez with an opportunity, a little opening at 4-4. Very awkward cueing though.
Well, it all hinged on that moment when Shaw potted the one but scratched. He didn't get back to the table. With ball in hand, Corriere has made it 3 in a row and now leads 4-1. Moments of concern for the man in your picture there.
Oh, absolutely, and Dominguez now with a nice little shot on the 2 ball. He's kind of over and kind of beside the purple 5, and now has a chance to take a lead.
And all those scores pretty much as they were when we last updated you. Alban Ocean down the bottom there, winning the All-Austrian clash with Max Lechner a short time ago on table 2. Looks like it's going to be Dennis Grab to face him. Niels Feijen will need a massive finish there to prevent that happening.
Yeah, 2 guys that are playing each other that are moseying along and not mentioned a whole lot. Kazakis did have a nice easy win earlier over Al-Kaidi, but Kazakis and John Moore both, ooh, a big missed 3 ball there, and just caught it a little heavy, that Oscar.
Yeah, that was Dominguez passing up a golden opportunity. As you said, he could have gone in front there. Filler has the chance to go 5-4 there. Now, back on this table. How is this finished for the Italian?
Well, he's got a shot on the 1, but the cue ball rests on the rail, so hard to hold position for the 2 unless he elevates the cue. He could roll past the 6 and take a thin cut on the 2 ball. He's going to size that up. I don't think he's going to really unleash the cue and try and go maybe all the way down to the bottom rail and back up a little bit for a cut on the 2. I don't like that as much either. Nothing easy though. One good thing, he's close to it. I like just rolling past it and make it a simple decision from there. He's got some safety options. He's got a 4-1 lead. No reason to go crazy trying to make it. Oh, he did do what I was talking about, and I think that was a mental error. But nevertheless, he got away with it.
Oscar Dominguez didn't get away with his miss over on the other table. Joshua Filler leading 5-4 there now. Here's a look at that again.
Jayson Shaw not with much love there on that miss, but very happy to be at the table, I tell you. Try and create something here on the kick shot. I think coming 3 rails behind it. Oh, he came 2 into it. This may give up a little look. I don't know. No, it's going to work out for Shaw.
Who's going to be the next player to get through to the weekend? It might be Ronald Regley. He's on the hill now at 9-7 against Moritz Neuhausen.
Don't mind the jump shot here, but the problem is he has to go over 2 balls. So that makes it much more difficult to control. You have to put a lot into the ball, get it up early and carry it quite a ways. And the kick's pretty doable, though. He cut into it. So Shaw's going to have to take advantage of this chance here.
Yeah, big moments these, even though it's still relatively early in the match, because Shaw is in danger of letting this slip away from him here, because you would think at 5-1 down, with, as we've said so many times, the new breaking format, well, then you're really in serious danger.
Well, it looks like he's going for this bank. Decent here, just swing the ball to the left side rail.
Started the year in good style, won the Turning Stone Classic, a long-established and fairly prestigious event in New York. Taking it for a record 7th time, was sent to the one-loss side of Fedor Gorst, but ended up beating him in the final, having been some way behind, in fact. And since then, he's won a couple more tournaments. One of them was a very small event in Rhode Island in March. The Diamond opened in Pennsylvania then in April, where he beat Darren Appleton in the final. Well, that was significant. He actually got more world ranking points from that than he has from all the other tournaments this year put together. That tells you how he's not really shown up in the very biggest events. But he has brought his game here. We said it was very important for him to take this chance, having lost the last 3. And he's back to 2 behind now. Corrieri's lead reduced to 4-2. Mieszko Fortunski still can't get across the line. It's gone hill-hill now, 9-all. Radoslav Babica battling back so well in that one. And Dennis Graba is through. He's beaten the former world champion Niels Feyen by 10 racks to 5 and will play Albin Ocean in the last 16 tomorrow.
Yeah, Oscar made a nice shot on the 2, but missed an open 3 ball. Maybe time to take his time out when he gets a chance. Clear his mind. That's what it's there for. May go for this bank, Josh Filler. We'll get back to that match in a little bit. Shaw to break the balls.
And it's dry. And has he left the 1?
Yeah, and that's where Daniel has really capitalized so far, is with the open tables, not so much the tactical play. And now another open shot and an open table, not really any clusters. It's got a pretty easy path to the 2 ball. A little bit tricky with the 3 upstairs there, but not too bad. Does he come between the 6-7 here? He's got to have good speed. That'll do.
Just to update you on a big story that could be happening. Ever since you bigged up Bizarre Spahiu, Jeremy, he's been absolutely rampant in that match against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, to the extent that he now leads at 9-8 and needs just 1 more rack to put out the World Cup winner.
Well, what I've seen from that kid, and it hasn't been a a ton of info. I haven't been around him, every week or anything, but as much as anyone, I see him, of course, not enjoying the losses, but understanding them and understanding that's part of the process, and just really just enjoying where he's at, playing the game and improving every day. And funny to say, I mean, of course, Daniel, like most of us, can't keep up with Shaw offensively as a whole. But you wouldn't say he's that far behind. I think it's the tactical side of things.
Oh, well, now Joshua Filler there was going for the 4-9 combination to lead Oscar Dominguez 6-4. He pulled it off, but scratched at the same time in the opposite corner.
And a big 4-ball missed on a really easy shot for Daniel. Pretty much straight in stop shot. And it's going to get out from there and take another 3-game lead. And oh my. Kind of two-stroke that one. I don't know if it's going to cost him, but not the best shot there from Shaw as far as position play. And he's sizing up how he's going to contact the 8. Doesn't want to end up behind the 7, obviously, but he doesn't want to end up on the top rail either, where he doesn't have an offensive shot on the 6. So a little touchy here. That's going to work out just fine for Eagle Eye. I'll tell you, Oscar's battling over there. If he can shore up, just a couple easy, I wouldn't say easy misses, but balls he's supposed to make. Seems like he's a bit more comfortable than he was in the Tyler match.
Oh, yeah, without question. We'll keep an eye on that one as he looks to level at 5-all. John Morra has drawn level at 5-all with Alex Kazakis.
And what a story, John Morra, right? I mean, of course, we've talked about it a lot of times through the last several years. Huge article from Billiards Digest here recently about John, featuring him and what he's had to do to continue to play professional pool, but it's still kind of hard to not talk about, in my opinion, just because it's so amazing.
The switching hands. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I just can't get my head around how anyone could even attempt to do that, to effectively relearn the game. So Jayson Shaw had his first dry break of the match, but wasn't punished for it. And having trailed 4-1, he's now closed it to just 1 behind at 4-3. Oscar Dominguez has a fairly routine 9-ball to level at 5 apiece. Yep, taking full advantage of Filler's scratch off the combination. Level pegging there, so that's very much worth keeping an eye on. Back here, Jayson Shaw, only 1 behind now.
And going to the open hand bridge for the break, changing it up a little bit, and another dry break. This could get a little frustrating now. We do expect dry breaks a lot more often, but Jayson's really one of them that usually excels at pocketing that one in the side on the cut break.
You were talking earlier, Jeremy, about Corrieri's lack of experience in singles competition in this sort of environment, and correctly so. He did actually play in the World Masters, though, as far back as 2014. And in the first round, he drew Niels Fyen, who was the defending champion, and beat him. And then lost in the last 16. Actually, it would have been the quarterfinals, because I think it was a 16-man field at that time. And he lost his second match to Karol Skwarski. Konrad Jusicin, one of 6 Polish players in the last 32. The biggest contingent in this round is on the hill now at 9-7 against Khalid Al Ghamdi. Young man from Saudi Arabia has had such a big adventure here this week, but it might be on the brink of ending. And Ronald Regley has won 10-8 against Moritz Neuhausen and now plays Jose Alberto Delgado.
Daniel in a great position here. Just come up the table, maybe a hair of inside English. That way he can run off the 5, what should be just 2 cushions. No reason to really involve the 3rd cushion, I don't think, here. He's not going to draw the ball. This is going to be, yeah, just float into position here on the 6.
Well, important rack this for Corrieri. Didn't take advantage of the dry break from Shaw in the previous rack. Looks like he's going to here. And also it's going to keep him in front. When you're the outsider and you've got a lead against one of the biggest names in the game, just hold on to some sort of advantage. He was 3 clear at one stage. It had been reduced to 1.
And I think more than anything, again, the offensive side of things is where he can keep up with Shaw, somewhat at least. Tactically, I'm not so sure.
Well, he's halfway to victory now. That's 5-3. Now, this will be of particular interest to you, Jeremy. The first player confirmed for the European Mosconi Cup team this year is Joshua Filler. And the reason for that is that Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has been beaten 10-8 by Bazar Spahiu, who finished that one so strongly. So that means that Filler claims the first automatic spot. Sanchez Ruiz certainly had to go further than him to overtake him. And that will not now be happening because FSR has gone out at the last 32 stage. Still every chance he'll make it into the team later in the year. Another 2 places will be filled after the US Open. Then the 2 captains' picks. But the first place is confirmed going to Joshua Filler, the man who delivered the winning point last year, of course.
Yeah, I wasn't too concerned overall. I mean, Filler's making that team just kind of like, couldn't even imagine how SVB's not making that team, whether it be points or otherwise. And I'm not sure I'd be let back in the United States if Shane didn't make that team. So,
yeah, so now we know. First place confirmed on both teams, Van Boning and Filler. Not a bad way to start.
no, and Oscar's got a big shot on a 1 ball. I think he can see. Oh, maybe not. He's looking to kick at it now. Looked to me he could shoot it in and go right between the 6-9 backup table for the 2, but maybe not. Daniel with the ball down on the break. Long shot on the 1. We'll see how he wants to play it. He can take a little chance simply rolling this in and trying to go between the 6-8, take some distance on the 2 ball. Most guys wouldn't want to do that, but they'd want to work the cue ball more, but he's going to keep it simple. He's overrun it, it looks like. Oscar did have a shot scratched. A little unlucky, really. And from what I've seen so far with Filler, is he's playing at a much faster pace than he did with Kachi.
Mieszko Fortunski has come through. He's won the all-Polish clash with Radoslav Babica 10-9. And now faces another of his compatriots, Thomas Kaplan, in the last 16 tomorrow.
Look at this kick shot here. He's got to hit it light to make it spread. Just got to kind of creep up on the 2-ball 3 rails. Yeah, long. Oh, nice hit. It's to that point, Jayson really can't afford many more mistakes.
No mistake from Joshua Filler in mopping up rack 11 to go back in front against Oscar Dominguez. That's 6-5 now.
Little off angle here on the 4. I don't know if he can just kind of ease it in with a little drag stroke, maybe. Yeah, he just kind of held it, a little pinch on the bottom of the ball. I personally would probably like to get the angle on the 7 to come across the table rather than drawing the ball back for the 8 in the other corner. He's gonna draw the ball though. He won't come back too far. Maybe 5-6 inches above the head string. This side of the head string, let's say. Really a little conservative there.
So back once again to 1 behind once this 9 disappears. Corriere still leads, but now it's just by a single rack at 5-4. Another winner for you, Konrad Usagen, has ended the run of Khalid Al-Ghamdi from Saudi Arabia, 10-7. So Usagen's win means there will be 4 Polish players in the last 16. That's more than any other country. And in that round, he will face either Alex Kazakis or John Mora, who's now in front at 6-5 in their clash. And that's the only match still going, apart from those on the 2 main tables. Shaw hasn't been level in this match since 1-1. The aim here is to get back to parity.
Yeah, I'll put a lot more steam into that after a couple dry breaks in a row. And look at the 5-7 tie-up just in a nasty manner up in the top right corner. And I know it's 5-4, but it seems to me, just watching the match, if you didn't pay attention to the score as much, that the Italian would have a 2 or 3 game lead, it kind of feels like, but only 1. And Joshua Filler making a bit of a tactical error and actually showing a little motion over there. Bit of frustration, you might say. Jayson's really trying to size up, how can I get at that 5-7? What may end up being the shot here in a moment, a few moments anyways, is some type of bank on the 4, knock it around the table near the 5, put the cue ball behind the 6, something like that. He'll size that up when he gets to it, but don't really like his chances of busting out the 5-7. Joshua Filler going over to help Oscar, let him know if he can see that ball or not. That's rare when a player gets out of their chair after they've already entered their chair.
But could you trust your opponent to tell the truth? Like con you into going for something that isn't on?
Well, I don't think he was really telling him that anyways, of course, but you don't see that very often.
Well, Dominguez was looking at that for a really long time. It looks as though he's decided he can get through to pop the 3.
He's got to put a big draw stroke, though. Oh, he could get there easily. He actually hit the outside of the 3. Okay. Look at this. He's trying to open this up now. He's trying to get into the 5 to open it for a shot later. I'll tell you, from opportunities at that match with Filler and Oscar, Oscar could really have like a 3-game lead, it looks like to me, in that match. He's missed 3 really open shots. Filler had a bad miss there, and he's given up another shot.
Back here, Corriere has the lead, but it's in a bit of jeopardy here after that last shot from Shaw. Did make single elimination at the World Championship this year, but went no further, was beaten by Ko Pin Han quite comfortably. And didn't manage to get to that phase of the UK Open. Would have needed 3 more wins, even if he'd beaten Nicolas de Leon, but lost to him anyway.
And this looks long all day. Oh, nice hit, actually.
Dominguez has now rifled that 3 in at the other end of the table. So maybe a chance for him to level again with Filler, as Jayson Shaw looks to get back on equal terms here.
Yeah, now he has a shot on the 3 that's not easy, but it does offer an angle to get behind the 4 to maybe run the cue ball off the 4 towards that 5-7. And most of Oscar's matches, he's put a few racks together, so he can get out here. You never know, he may sit Filler down for a few racks.
Shaw not anywhere near his assured best on the potting front today.
Yeah, and that was a lot of cue ball on his mind right there, I think, trying to hold it behind the 4 for the proper angle. Oh, Oscar's missed another easy shot.
Yeah, that was on the 5 ball. So Joshua Filler with a great chance to go 7-5 now. What's Corriere thinking here?
Well, if he can cut this in and get 2 rails by the 8, he may be able to lay on that right side rail for that same angle that Shaw was shooting for in the last. Oh, big mistake here. Kind of from nowhere as well. And that wasn't a missed ball. He was trying to play safe on the 3, putting the cue ball behind the 8. Caught a double kiss. That's what I mean. Tactically, I think maybe he's a little further behind Shaw than maybe the offensive side of things.
When someone has an unexpected lead and ends up losing the match, then at the end of the contest, there's very often one shot you end up talking about as the moment where it really started to turn against him. That may just have been it in this case.
I think Jayson's sizing up a 3-way combination, 3-ball combination here on the 3-7-5. Don't think he'll miss it. I'm not too worried about that. The problem is the 4 is a little covered up. I think he's supposed to play position here to break out these balls, or maybe this is a crucial game. Not only that, unless you're going to hit it at a very light speed, I don't think you really know where the 3's going. And like I said, the 4's not that much in the open, Michael. If the 3 gets out of hand here, he could still have problems. do understand what his instincts are telling him. Let's play this combination here, but I don't know. And the 8's there as well. He follows down. I'm not sure he's really going to produce a pocket for the 3. Oscar back at the table after a dry break from filler. Yeah, I think going away from that combination really is the best play. You know, in his last inning, when he missed that 3 ball, he was playing position for the 4 to come around and either bust out the 7-5 or play a safety off of it. And we'll see.
Joshua Filler looks to have a real spring in his step now over on the other table. What he's also got is a good chance to go 8-5 in front against Oscar Dominguez. Remember, winner of that plays the winner of this for a place in the quarterfinals.
He's going for the 3-ball combo. And that's what I was talking about. Where is the 3 going? It did come up some. Still has to make a nice thin cut shot plus control the cue ball to get on the 4. It's all about the speed. And that'll do.
Yeah, that will do very nicely. As we said, he hasn't been level since 1-all. He lost 3 in a row after that. Quickly, let's go next door. Filler has gone 8-5 in front. Is the resistance of Dominguez being broken here?
Yeah, Shaw should tie this match. And after his last break off, he really unloaded. I think you're going to see a lot of the same the rest of this match from Shaw. Now Filler with a nice break. Didn't get a shot on the 2. On top of it, so should be a safety, you would think. But Eagle Eye back, tied at 5 apiece.
Not at his absolute best by any means, but he's doing enough at the moment to turn this match around. And having been 3 behind at one stage, he's now level at 5-all. John Mora leads Alex Kazakis 7-5. Winner of that plays Konrad Usagen, one of 4 poles in the last 16. And as we've been saying, Joshua Filler leading 8-5 against Oscar Dominguez, so just needs 2 more. And anyone who wasn't watching earlier today missed an absolute classic, didn't they, Jeremy? That match between Joshua Filler and Eklund Kachi. It's really well worth checking out on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to bring it up again, but I think, oh my, what an awful kiss. And that kiss coming across is going to sometimes, and look at this, a 1-9, most likely to regain the lead for Daniel. And the kiss sometimes is going to knock the 9 in the side or the corner, but other times it's going to cost you the cue ball. And untimely there for Eagle Eye.
So, a rack which has consisted of just 2 shots, and it takes Daniele Corrieri back into the lead at 6-5. After all that effort that Shaw made to draw level, he didn't stay there for very long, but still a very tight finishing prospect here.
Yeah, the break hasn't been Jayson's friend in this match. 2 or 3 dry breaks, a scratch there. Conversely, Daniels broke the balls nice. He's had a break and run.
There's a look at the combination again. Remember, for people maybe not that familiar with Nineball, any pot is legal and keeps you at the table, so long as the first ball you hit is the lowest value ball. And if the ball you happen to pot in that manner is the 9, that's the end of the rack. Okay, so Corrieri has still not trailed in this match at any stage. He's back in front at 6-5, closing in on what would be one of the biggest wins of his life.
Yeah, and you said, you know, he's run deep in the Euro Tour a few times, and of course the World Cup. He's played many times for Italy, but to win this match, I think, you know, not only beating Shaw, of course, but just to get to that final 16 here at the inaugural European Open, I think that would sit highest on his board. I'm not sure, but I would think so anyways. Oscar Dominguez has gotten terribly out of line here on the 4, and I'm not sure the 6 goes in the lower right if you're watching the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. Nice effort there from Daniel. Very smart shot, well executed. Oscar keeps calling the pocket. I'm not sure why. You're forgetting we're playing 9-ball. I'd like to see him shoot this in with a little speed. That'd be an Oscar. Beautiful kick there from Jayson. He may have left the rail first, though. I think actually it sits really nice to get at the rail first to pocket the 1. The 2's over the corner. Sitting a little funny in that jaws, but not too bad. And again, if Oscar can settle down, he's fought hard in the tactical side of things with Shaw and come away the winner many times. Just had some unforced errors pocketing the ball a few times, and can't usually afford that. Got to put a little speed on this to get the cue ball to escape.
Oscar Dominguez has closed to 8-6 down against Joshua Filler. Should point out, actually, Filler's the only home player left in the tournament. There were 4 Germans in this round, and the other 3 have all been beaten already.
Yeah, well, though, hats off to the German pool players. Oh, another open miss. I'm not saying it was an easy shot, but one that you know, these guys bury at a high rate, and you know, they only have 1 guy left, and that is the German in today's professional pool. But I've been super impressed with so many names, and I'm glad I got to see him play. So many German players.
Well, some of the more unfamiliar names were quite a mix. Some of them were guys who had never really been seen on this stage before, and others were players who maybe had been on the scene a few years ago and had drifted away from it. And Rafael Val, of course, one of those who pushed Filler so hard. So it really has underlined just how strong Pool has been in Germany for quite a long time.
I'm not sure how many players named Tobias were in the tournament, but it seemed like every one of them played well. Most of them German players. Funny little shot for Daniel here. I don't know where he's going with. Just a subtle clip trying to use the 9. Oh, he was going for the make. Can't blame him too much. That was a funny position to play safe from, and I know you can't take your time out in the middle of the game, but I think Eagle Eye needs a timeout soon.
He's made early exits from the other two big field Matchroom events so far this year. Went out at this stage of the World Championship in a hill finish against Ko Pin-Yi. And at the UK, he was 2 wins away from getting through to single elimination, then lost to Mieszko Fortunski. That meant he needed 3 wins on the loser side, and he didn't get any. He lost 9-8 to Jonas Suto Camino, who's in the last 16 here tomorrow, and will play Mateusz Sniagotsky.
He's not in love with where he got on this 3-ball, I'll tell you. He's got to play a subtle little draw stroke over. He may get elevated over these balls if he's not careful. And he bounced off enough to where he can pinch this 4, I think, and still hold for the 5. It's close, I'll tell you. If this cue ball's an inch to the, closer to the rail, he's got issues. A big shot on a 1-ball for Oscar. He's got to bury this 1-ball to stay in this match. Nice little pinch stroke on the 4 for Jayson Shaw. Probably comes back all the way for the side on the 6.
So he's level again. They both need 4 more. Shaw 6, Corriere 6. John Morra just needs 2 more racks. He now has an 8-5 advantage over Alex Kazakis. Winner of that plays Konrad Yusichin. And the winners of the other 2 matches still going on will play each other. Obviously the one we're watching. And then Joshua Filler 8-6 in front against Oscar Dominguez. Just looking ahead to some of the matches. Top half of the draw in the last 16 is completed. Shane Van Bonin against Sanyan Pelovanovic. Jonas Suto Camino against Mateusz Sniagotsky. Ronald Regley versus Jose Alberto Delgado. And Mieszko Fortunski against Thomas Kaplan. The only match we know for certain in the bottom half of the draw, well, 2 of them actually now. Mario He against Bazar Spahiu and Dennis Graba against Albin Ocean. Here's what's going on over on 2. You've been keeping a very close eye on this, Jeremy, and Oscar Dominguez has played much better in this match, whatever happens now, than the one he won earlier.
Yeah, overall, no doubt about it. And with some great shots. He's really battled on the safety side of things. And still in it.
Shane Van Bonin has been so familiar in recent years with being the only American left round about the last 16 stage of big events. Dominguez is the only player who can avert that from happening again.
Yeah, he's going to play a rail first shot here, I believe. The 5's frozen to the rail. He could foul here if if he goes rail first and cuts the 1 back on the 5, the 5's frozen. He's got to get the 1 to the rail or else he fouls. So the good thing is, with the 3 being there and the way the 7 is, he can go ahead and play for the thinner side on the 1, so it should get to the cushion and still be able to get the safety. Now, I would look around for a possibility of another safety. I'm not sure what that is just yet, but if the 5 was off the rail a little bit, this is definitely the shot. Now, he's going to play it differently. He's going to get the cue ball to the rail, maybe cue ball up on the 7, but I don't know. I think I maybe still go with the rail first shot, to be honest with you. Even though you could foul, it's just part of it.
Under the watchful eye of Marcel Eckhart.
And he got a rail with the 1. That was the key. It's going to leave a nice soft kick for Josh, but
no Joshua Filler match will be complete without a view of Pia Filler. She's sitting in the crowd there, as you would expect. Played him, of course, earlier in the tournament.
And Josh has missed that little simple kick on the 1, so he surrendered ball in hand to Oscar. And 8-6, I mean, Oscar, again, I watched some of his matches. He ran some racks during almost all of his matches. I think he'd win this game and put a few together.
I did think we were going to see Pia there, but she is watching, I can assure you of that. Now back on table 1. How's this finished up?
Another dry break. Is that like 4 for Shaw so far, I think? Maybe 3 dry breaks and 1 scratch.
Well, put it this way, it's... Yeah, that's exactly it, in fact, yeah, just doing the maths.
So we'll see how Daniel's feeling. The 2-6, see? The 6 laying up, right? Makes you want to be offensive here because if you can cut the 1 on the side, I don't think the bank's on, but he's looking at the safety, banking the 1 away. But I don't mind this cut shot in the side myself because I can play the 2 from a lot of places with the 6 hanging. Oscar, if you're watching the YouTube channel, he's got to move the 1 ball down table. Remember, he plays the safety, relying on a speed control behind the 6, and that's hard. Even though he executed it. Ooh, I don't know. May have leaked. Wow, nice shot, Daniel. Really nice cue ball, sir. Well, Filler just always comes with the shot, it seems like.
Yeah, just a very nice 1 there. Getting himself in with a chance for 9-6 against Oscar Dominguez. It's the sort of chance he rarely fails to take advantage of. So Filler perhaps heading for the hill. We'll keep you informed on that.
Yeah, he's looking at the 1 rail escape here. The 2 rail, the 7's just a little bit in the way.
I know he was very full of confidence about this week. He was talking in very positive terms about how he'd prepared for this European Open. I travelled here with him actually and his wife Ara on the train from the airport, and he was really looking forward to the week. What a letdown it would be to go out this early.
Oh, he's going to surrender a thin cut. Maybe a kiss shot on the 6. Maybe a safety from Daniel. We'll see. Oh, that cue ball may end up on top of the 9 here for filler a little bit. That's getting a little dicey over there.
Yeah, this is on table 2. Joshua Filler looked for all the world as though he was absolutely certain to get to the hill. Chances are he is still going to make it. But this isn't the 9 ball he would have had in mind.
Yeah, using the extension. Big stretch. Wants the cue ball cleaned.
If you're thinking, hang on, we saw that ref a minute ago on table 1. This is the situation in the early days of the tournament that the refs take control of a number of tables. Each match will have its own in the later stages.
Yeah, they really don't get enough applause, the referees.
Filler will get some applause for that, though. Oh, or will he? I think he's okay. He's okay. Oh. Not sure, would you call that a bit of acrobatics or whatever it was? But Joshua Filler has maybe got a bit of breathing space there now. 9-6 he leads Oscar Dominguez, the last remaining German here in his home country at the European Open. Back to table 1.
Yeah, nice kick shot here to try and come up underneath the 8 with the cue ball. He could play it fully, just trying to stop the cue ball, sending the 1 between the 2-3 up to the top rail, trying to utilize the 3 ball. Now Filler with a scratch on the break, and he's made 4. Yeah, that's the kick shot there. Nice shot, Daniel. I'll say watch out for a little 9 ball action off the side of this 1 from Jayson Shaw. And he's got, you know, a couple ways to make it with the 5 being there. It should have a little speed on it. Not a ton, but it won't be rolled. Oh, I thought he was going to kiss that ball and scratch. Nice effort there from Eagle Eye.
Dominguez still punching over on the other table. Fairly routine 8 and 9. All he has left to do to get back to 9-7. And he's really got to feel he's in a nothing to lose situation now. And as we said, there wasn't much expectation on him going into it. Filler may yet have yet another close finish in this tournament. Dominguez has done the job and is back to 9-7. As we return to Daniele Corrieri and what's facing him here.
Been a long time on this 1 ball here in the 13th game. Couple kiss shots, a combination earlier.
And that is pretty much spot on.
And that 1 ball vanished quickly for a cross-side bank, I'll tell you. That was hit about as hard as any shot the entire week that I've seen. Like to see Oscar come away with a shot, see what he can do with it, this position.
Yeah, Dominguez has come up dry with his break in rack 17 on the other table. Back here, you just sense that Corriere really gets how big a moment this is in his career. Talked about that win over Niels Feijen 8 years ago now in the World Masters. At the very least, this would be right up there with that.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like there's been a bunch of moments for the man in this tournament. I mean, making the final 64, winning that first match, those are big moments. Getting on with it. And they grow and grow as each match goes. Funny little shot in the side. Yeah, the side pockets do not give you any room for error, especially when you're drawing the ball with speed. That one might hurt, Michael. Nice shot there from Jayson. A little awkward cueing.
He's never been in front in this match. But it looks like he's going to be now.
Yeah, and that's where we'll see. It is creeping towards the end of this match, and we'll see how Daniel responds if given the chance. Kind of figure Shaw's going to improve from here.
So Shaw in front for the first time at 7-6. Hasn't run out from the break even once in this match. It's not been that sort of contest, though. Now over on table 2, Joshua Filler is at the table and has a chance to finally get this done against Oscar Dominguez. Just to update you on the other match that's still going on, all the way out in table 15, John Mora, 8-7 up on Alex Kazakis.
Filler's overrun the cue ball here. He's gotten pretty flat on this 5. This is going to be difficult. Is he playing for maybe just a punch shot to get a thin cut on the 6 ball?
Well, we'll let you know how that finishes up. But back here now to Shaw, leading for the first time. It's all over. Joshua Filler has made a 6-9 combination to complete a 10-7 win over Oscar Dominguez. He will fly the German flag alone into the weekend at the European Open. And Shane Van Boening will be the sole American as a result of that.
Yeah, Jayson, I'm not sure what the issue is. He's got a nice shot here on the 1. Maybe taking a little time since some of the crowd will be exiting after this Filler match has concluded, or since it has concluded.
It's 8-all now between Alex Kazakis and John Mora. The only match left now apart from this one.
And an awkward shot here, actually. I mean, the 2's near, but he is some distance away. Don't think he's dead straight, so maybe he can get to the top rail with the cue ball. That's a more comfortable way to shoot it rather than just rolling your ball. Don't think he'll elevate and kind of stop the cue ball. That doesn't seem right.
As the arena here gets quieter and quieter, this match is finishing, and only a couple of tables left in operation. It only adds to the tension of this.
Got a pink 4 ball that's covered up. I think he's a little awkward on the 2, even though the 3's near. 4 does play. But you want to get nice on it. Nice shot there. He's gotten close enough to the 3, even though he's a little thin. He should be able to kill the cue ball. Otherwise, if he can't, this is going to be tricky. That should be ideal, and wouldn't be surprised if Marcel pays close attention to this. No worry on that one. You could have called that one, Michael, right?
One thing we can definitely call is that you would feel Jayson Shaw is probably going to have to play better if he does get through this when he faces Joshua Filler. But as we said, it almost doesn't matter with him what kind of form he's in, because he's very capable of just producing it when you don't expect it. And you would have to think a clash with Filler would be just the sort of thing to spark a real upturn in his fortunes and bring out the best in him.
Yeah, and the break is still such a huge part, you know, and that hasn't been his friend in this match as a whole. So, you know, I look back to the 2020, I believe it was, Mosconi Cup, where he did win MVP, but he did have some moments where he made a few mistakes that you didn't expect, but then came with so many great shots afterwards.
Well, we said he hadn't led in the match. Neither player had been too clear since Corriere led 5-3. But Shaw is putting in a nice late burst here, and he's only 2 away from victory now at 8-6. A real battle going on between Alex Kazakis and John Morra. It's 8-all in that one. Not the only other match still going on. 12 o'clock local time start tomorrow. We'll have the last 16 and the quarterfinals, both being played on Saturday. Quarters will be raced to 11, still raced to 10 for the last 16. And then Sunday, the early session, 2 semi-finals, race to 11. And then the final, what's becoming that standard distance for events of this nature, race to 13 on Sunday night. Will Jayson Shaw be there? He's given himself every chance.
Well, the cue ball's gotten over on the side rail, making the 1 pretty thin. I don't know if the 6 opened up or not. Marcel will have to work to get these balls, get the rack off the template. I think Jayson does go offensive here, though. I think, anyways.
Keep your concentration for this. And then, of course, don't forget to put back the ball you've moved. No better man for the job.
I agree. And pretty natural to get around the pink 4 ball, cutting the 1. I think he does attack here. What he's looking at there is probably a safety, maybe, on the 5 later in the rack. Got to bury a nice 1 ball here and have a good speed on the cue ball. Looks pretty nice.
Oh, he senses the winning line. And he just looks a bit less under pressure to me than he did a couple of racks ago when he was struggling to take control of this match.
And the 6 doesn't pass the 8. It does have a pocket, but the problem is the 7's got the 5 covered up. So very difficult to get any kind of position on the 5 to get position on the 6. So I want to draw back nice. Oh, he played into him, so took a little bit of a gamble. He's still got to cut this in probably. Eef, man, this is difficult. I think he'll want to go in between the 6-9 off a couple rails here. I know that sounds crazy, but that's kind of natural. Could go around the 8 with a high ball off of 3 rails and back at the 5. I think I like coming at 2 rails in between the 6-9 with a little right English on the cue ball here for the 4. Now he's looking at 3 rails with just basically a high ball. May put a little flick of right English, like a quarter tip, something like that. You don't want to put a ton. Oh, he caught it thick. Yeah. He's going to be a little upset with that. And not an easy safety. Watch the 4 as it enters the pocket, just on the bottom side of the pocket. And that point, I think, actually helped him. Looked like to me if he gets past that point, he runs into the 8 and is probably snookered behind the 6 and 9.
Do you feel this is one of those situations, though, where the absence of a shot clock isn't helping him because it's throwing him out of his natural rhythm, which is what his game's all about?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think he's one of the best at kind of using the shot clock and kind of with his rhythm, and I think that's what makes him so tough. I'm not in love with this kick shot. I would probably draw off the 5 down here, kind of double banking it back and forth on the kind of the area of the table it's on. Reason being is because you're going to play the cue ball pretty nice, and the 6 still doesn't pass the 8. This is pretty decent if it does escape. Nice little rub on the 8.
Just keeping the pressure on Corriere. Knows any little misjudgment here, and Shaw will be on the hill with a 3-rack lead.
Yeah, touchy business here, Michael. He's looking to, I don't know. Doesn't have all the 5 ball. He definitely has about half of it he can get at or so, but now he's looking at a long rail bank to where he brings the cue ball kind of behind the 7. Now it won't be near the 7 at all, but it'll be on the line behind the 7. So he's got a little bit of chance of a safety just in case he misses. So this is low left English. He's going to try and throw the 5 back towards the top left corner. Bring the cue ball over there on that long rail. Just like this. Caught the 7 though. Watch out, cue ball. Oh my. I liked his shot though. I think that was the best percentage he had, really.
When it went wrong, Jayson Shaw could not get to the table quick enough.
Yeah, just that little half of revolution right there. I don't think Jayson got where he wanted exactly. He wanted to be able to come over here on the side rail on the 7 and have a natural angle to get on the 8. And that's why you see him shaking his head just a little bit. May still force that. I don't think so, but see him trying to get over that side rail desperately. That way he can swing the rock a couple rails. Good thing, like most of the greats, produces a lot of easy power, so should still be able to get the ball around. This ends up straight on the end rail. Cheats the pocket a little bit here.
The last time Jayson Shaw was behind in this match was at 6-5. Since then, he's won 4 racks in a row. And he's on the brink of coming through this test. He now leads Daniele Corrieri 9-6. So he's on the hill. John Morris on the hill as well. The Canadian has just won rack 17 to go 9-8 in front against Alex Kazakis. So our last 16 lineup could be completed within the next few moments here. And just to go back to something we were talking about earlier, Jeremy, it's got to be very disappointing for you looking at it that after so many American players times this week showed a bit of form, looked as though they might be there for the weekend. Still, once again, Van Boning is going to be the only American there in the final 16.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm American through and through, so those are the guys I'm pulling for, whether I'm part of the team, you know, a spectator, or however you look at it. But, you know, I mean, we got to look at the positive side of things, progress. You got to figure out what held them back at times, and whether that be them or us collectively at some point, or however you want to look at it. And I noticed some things, and I think some of it's mental, a little physical, but it's all coming along. And still have some major events for these guys to shine, and that's what I expect.
And here, for the sole remaining British player in the championship, a chance to finish it out in style. Remember, he was 4-1 down in this match. He never led until it went 7-6.
Once they gain an angle, you can see the 8 only has one pocket. So he doesn't want a ton of angle, but definitely wants a decent little angle to come across. I think he's pretty perfect, really. Just wants to stay off the rail. That way, if he falls straight in on the 8, he's not shooting the 9 from underneath in some funny manner. So he can handle a lot of angle on the 8 as long as he stays off the rail with the cue ball. Just kind of like this.
It's been a struggle for much of the contest. But his best play of this match has come towards the end of the match. And it looks as though he's going to play Joshua Filler in the last 16 tomorrow. I'm going to go out on a limb, Jeremy, and say that's going to end up on one of the main tables.
Yes!
Relief, joy, elation. Jayson Shaw has finished off with 5 racks in a row, 10-6. Really doesn't tell the story of how hard Daniele Corrieri made it for him. Jayson Shaw is here for the weekend. He's won 10-6.